cannot be overstated. By the early 1800s, the city had become something of a provincial backwater, without much large-scale industry. On the right side of the road, you will see some gravestones. These mark a plague pit used to bury victims of an outbreak of cholera in 1832. There were said to be 185 people buried in the mass grave outside the walls, and very few headstones still remain, although only people with money would have had the dignity of a headstone. Cholera broke out at a place called Hagworm's Nest, a nasty sounding place for a nasty disease. The church cemeteries were filling up quickly, and the churches didn't really want the bodies in their graveyards for fear of the disease spreading, so a new pit was dug outside the city walls. Unfortunately, they didn't understand cholera in 1832, and putting the bodies outside the walls didn't stop the disease spreading. To our left is the Memorial Gardens. These are gardens dedicated to those who lost their lives in the First and Second World Wars. This is our nearest stop for the National Railway Museum. If you take a trip round the National Railway Museum, you will find something in there for everyone, not just the rail enthusiast. Do allow plenty of time for your visit there, as the museum is huge, and remember, it's every Yorkshireman's favourite price, free. Walk straight ahead under the tunnel, and in 4 or 5 minutes you will be there. Unfortunately, we can't get you any closer due to the low bridge. Looking through the tree ahead, we can see the true scale and stature of the Royal York Hotel. As we said, it's called the Royal York, but shouldn't be, as none of our royal family has ever stayed in it. As we turn, you will see the city walls ahead of us. If you look through the arch, you will see a cream-coloured building. This is the original station hotel. This is where Queen Victoria stopped off when travelling to Balmoral by train in 1854. She was with Prince Albert and her children, and they took lunch in the station hotel. There is a tale that Victoria was given the bill for lunch. She was so incensed that she vowed never to come to York again. I'm not sure what was said, but I'm guessing one was not amused. Standing proud on the junction ahead, there is a statue of George Lehman. Or is it? There is a local legend about this statue that says it was originally another George, George Hudson. Both men were Lord Mayors of the city. Both were very influential figures, but it was Hudson who was responsible for bringing the railways to York. But Hudson was also a powerful and wealthy man. He became a member of Parliament, but also a crook. He was found to be cooking the books and was thrown out of the city in disgrace, living the rest of his life in France, a broken man. But this left us with his statue, so rather than waste it, we chopped the head off and put Lehman's on instead. Allegedly. We passed through a modern arch put in the city walls to allow for easier traffic flow in 1876, and moved on to Lendal Bridge, which was opened in 1861, but it collapsed and wasn't reopened until 1863. It crosses the River Ouse, York's main river, which takes its name from the Celtic or pre-Celtic Ootsus, and probably means simply water, or slow flowing water. On the left is a tower with a conical shaped roof. This is Barker Tower. It used to be the ferryman's cottage and was part of the city's defences, when a chain would have been stretched across the river to the tower on the far bank. On the right, facing onto the river, is the Guild Hall. Originally it was built in 1445 for the Guild of St Christopher and St George and the Corporation, but the structure you see today is mainly a modern reconstruction after the building was badly damaged during the Baedeker air raids in the Second World War. On the left is Lendal Tower. It dates back to the reign of Richard I, Richard the Lionheart, and it has stood next to the River Ouse since 1299. It was part of the city's defences. In 1677, the tower was leased to the York Waterworks Company for the princely sum of 1 peppercorn for 500 years. Over the bridge on the right is the Old Victorian Gentlemen's Club, where gentlemen of the day could go and have a glass of port, an exquisite meal, smoke a cigar, and get away from the ladies to talk politics. Today, however, it is the Pizza Margarita Express, where you go for margarita pizza, a glass of Coke. You can't smoke inside anymore, but you can still talk to politics. Oh, and ladies, who are now allowed in. Our next stop is for the museum gardens, the Yorkshire Museum, Betty's Tea Rooms, and the York Boat River Cruises. In the gardens to our left, you'll find the ruins of St Mary's Abbey, once the largest and richest Benedictine abbey in the north of England. It was pulled down by Henry VIII's men in the dissolution of the monasteries in the 1500s. You will also see some of the Roman fortress wall and Montangular Tower, as well as the remains of St Leonard's Hospital, which was closed in 1539. The hospital's main function was to care for the sick, the poor, the old and the infirm. The garden also houses the Yorkshire Museum. On our right is Lendal, which will take you down to the city centre shops, the Mansion House, which is the residence of the Lord Mayor of York, and Betty's Tea Rooms, which is the most famous tea rooms in the north. Be wary, Betty's is quite pricey, but it is well worth a visit for a treat once you get past the queue. Ahead of us is York Minster, the jewel in our crown, the largest Gothic cathedral in northern Europe. This present building took 252 years to complete. It was started in 1220 and not finished off until 1472. We say it's complete, but in actual fact the central tower should have a spire about another 100 feet, which is 32 metres in height on the top. But the weight of the spire would have collapsed the central tower, so it was never built. The Minster has 128 stained glass windows, containing over 3 million pieces of glass. The wide street leading to the Minster is called Duncan.